Alright, hey guys. So I've gotten a couple messages, not very many, but enough to where I wanted to make a new video for Wednesday's assignment, and that is now going to be due on Sunday. So you have an extension for that. I apologize for that last video not being sufficient, and I hope this one makes up for it. So first we're going to go over Wednesday stuff real quick, and I'm going to do it right just like I do on the whiteboard at school, and then we're going to move on to what I was going to do today, and hopefully this will still be pretty short. What you need to make sure you understand about surface area is that it's all formula based. You write the formula, you plug in the pieces, and so we just need to know where the pieces are. So like if I write H, where is H? If I write P, where is P? So I'm putting the right numbers in the right spot. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a prism. So pretty much a prism and a cylinder are considered kind of the same thing in the sense that the top and bottom, which we will call the bases, are the same shape. Okay. And so if I were to say, let's let B equal the area of the base. Well, then you'd have to know here this is a square, so that would be base times height. For a triangle, that's going to be 1/2 base times height. And for a circle, that's going to be pi r squared. And all of these bases are connected with these lines that are all parallel, which we're going to call the height. Now, usually we call this just h, right? Well, if you notice, a lot of our area formulas have h's, and those have to do with the bases exclusively. So what I want you to do is label the h here capitalized, and that way we know that's the big H, the height of the entire shape. If you think about surface area as a box, and then what you're going to undo is unfold the box. So like here's the bottom and the top, and then you've got these 4 walls. What you're really finding is the area of these two guys, which prompts 2B, where B is the area of the base. So for this one, this would be base times height. And then we want to add to that pH. And the reason it's pH is because when you unfold this, it's easier to see. You're actually doing the perimeter, because this side here, and then this side would be here. This is all side plus side plus side. And if you think of how to find the area of this whole thing, you'd have to do P times H, P times height. Okay, it's just a coincidence that the P happens to help us out, but really what this needs to look like is 2 times the area of the base, which is 2 times 2, plus perimeter of the base. Okay, well P just turned into 4 numbers because there's 4 2's here, and then the height we're going to call big H. I should have put big H at the beginning. That's going to be 4. 8. And area is always going to be units squared, as will surface area. Okay, so maybe I should put S equals. Let's look at a prism with a different base. I'm not the best at drawing the triangular prisms, so I'm going to use a picture. And I want to remind you again that the formula is really not going to change. 2 area of the bases plus perimeter times height with a capital H. So 2 times, let's just write this out a little more clearly. Base of this prism is, always look for the 2 that are facing each other. That's going to be a triangle. Plus, we know the perimeter is going to be side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. And big H is going to be, let's just go ahead and label that one. That one's a dead giveaway. The height is always going to be the number connecting your 2 bases. So since this is a base and this is a base, the number connecting that is going to be our 16. Next, the base of my triangle could be 5, and the height is 10 because those two are perpendicular to each other. Side 1 plus side 2 plus, I don't know, side 3. But if you do the Pythagorean theorem, right, because this is a right triangle, you're going to get 5, 10. And C is about 11.2 rather. Okay, so I'll put that up here. And so the real big difference here is that for big B, area of the base, if the base changes, you have to know what formula goes in its place. And to save you a little time here, the answer is 469.2. Keep when you put area. Surface area, yes. And lastly, if you had a cylinder, that's just going to be 2 pi r squared plus, and then remember this is actually a misnomer. Oh yeah, and this should be capital. Keep reading that. Let's go ahead and put that as 12. Big H. Anyway, back to this P. This should actually say C. You remember why? It's because there is no perimeter with a circle. It's circumference. And it's 2 pi r. Okay, radius is 8. And that's all there is to it. So again, the only thing that changes is big B changes to a different shape, changes to a circle. We have to come up with a different area. To fix this and put your answer in terms of pi, that's what's going to help you on Pearson. Pearson likes exact answers. You're going to do 64 times 2 pi plus 12 times 2 times 8. 16 times 12. 192. And you're just going to keep the pi out of it. Keep it like an x, so you'll use it to like combine like terms. That's just 128 plus 92 pi centimeters squared. Okay, so that's everything from Wednesday. We're going to move on to pyramids and cones next. For a cone, here's your formula. It's pi RL, which some of this you'll know. The radius here is R. L is a new formula letter that we're going to use to form the slant height. So we know slant, that's actually not very good. It's this lime green line that I've made on the right hand side. Different than height. Okay, so that'd be capital H. It goes from the tip top to the very bottom middle, whereas the slant height is going to go from the top to an edge. Okay, so there's another slant height right there in blue. So this is going to end up being 10. And then we again have our radius. So this is actually a pretty easy one to figure out. Okay, so let's look at one that's a little different. So here again, another cone, not the best drawn cone, but there's pi, there's r, and then L's actually missing. L, remember, is slant height, and it would be the slanty height here. But as you can see, it forms this triangle. So we can again do Pythagorean theorem. Remember, C should always be your long side, or in this case, our slant height. And we get 5. Okay, so that's in the instance where you Sorry if I wrote that too fast. You can always go back and rewatch, but that's if you are missing the slant height. Alright, last one. Surface area of a pyramid. We have a formula over here. Let's see what we know already. 1/2. P is the perimeter of the base. We used that from earlier. So that would be 10 times 4 essentially. That's our P value. Slant height again, and then out of room. It says big B. That's area of the base. So that's going to be 10 times 10. So we got 20 times something plus 100. 20 times L. Okay, so what's L? Tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and leave a spot for it. We need to figure out what it is. Anytime you have a pyramid and you're missing your slant height, just build a triangle by going to the middle. That's big H, which they listed here as 12. Slant height here. And now if this was the middle and this is the edge right here, here's your triangle. You might think this is 10, but this is actually going to the middle. So if it goes to the middle, it's going to be half of your side length. And now you can do 12 squared, 5 squared, L squared, and find your slant height that way. Okay. This was in centimeters. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good weekend.